So I was just sweeping over my front yard here with the 6-inch coil, and I was getting a banging target in my front yard there. And it sounds like a coin is down there. I was getting like a 21 on my 6-inch coil. It was just really scratchy. I think it's a deeper coin there, but I will turn on the Equinox. I just spent 10 minutes putting this coil on, so I hope you guys really appreciate me putting this big coil on here. 10 minutes out of my day, I'll never get back. Actually 20 minutes, because I have to take this thing back off and put my small coil back on. But I'm in Park 1 here, or Field 1, and my gain is up a little bit too high. So multi-frequency, Park 1, iron bias is, let's see what we got going on here. I think that was an FE. $21, $22. Really hard to pinpoint. I'm getting some higher numbers there though. I'll switch it over to F2. $25. It's really hard to pinpoint. So I'll put in Park 2 here, or Field 2, I mean. Not too much EMI. I'll just do away with that. Field 2, I always get a lot of EMI. See, I can try to pinpoint with it, but just there's so much iron around here, you know. It's probably around here somewhere. But sounds like a coin. Then I grab my 9-inch coil on the Deus after I swept over it with my my Equinox, and the 9-inch coil was hitting it big time. I mean big time. I'll use my 9-inch coil on it. High frequency coil. And pitch tones. I'm getting a little bit EMI. What's going on here? Is my pinpointer on? Oh, it's the wrong coil. It's the wrong coil here. Oops, double button pushing. Because the coil's sitting on the concrete right there. This has the other coil. Okay. Then I came out here with a 9-inch coil with a Deus, and it just spanked it right out. Right? 31 kilohertz frequency. Now I'll try 54 to get rid of some of that EMI here. All the EMI is gone, right? Right, 90s tone there, upper 90s, but I don't really look at the numbers. I look at the tones. Sounds kind of like junky. Sounds kind of junky, or maybe some iron in with it. And I'll show you the full tones program here. That's the pitch program. This is the full tones program. See how it's grunting at me? I can pinpoint it real easy, right? See? Get a lot of grunts on it. Now I'll just switch coils over to my bigger, lower frequency coil on the Deus here and do that same test here. Oops, double button pushing, man, with the Deus. It just drives me nuts, man. Okay, let's put that in the bag there. Swap out this coil. Alright, it's that easy. It doesn't take 10 or 20 minutes to swap out my coil with the Deus. With the Equinox, man, that thing is so hard to change. full tones give me a kind of a grunty tone there. It's in 7 kilohertz, I think. Yep, 7 kilohertz. I'll go up with it to 25 kilohertz. It's kind of hard to pinpoint with this coil too, the bigger coil here. But I'll go over to pitch tones and show you how much easier it is to pinpoint in pitch. The 90s, 70s in pitch tones. Sounds like junk. Just gonna dig this right up. Oh, it's hard. It's hard ground here. Oh, it's dry too. Oh man. It is supposed to rain here next couple days though, so. Right there. There's no need for big coils, man, especially in my soil here. It's not even deep at all. It's gonna be some junk. Just like my Deus was telling me. It's a dime right there. It's a dime at about 1.5 inches deep. After all these hours, all these detectors that I've used in my front yard, I'm still finding coins. Just a clad dime. Right? You saw the Equinox was struggling on that target there. So was this big coil here. The 6-inch coil was not struggling on that target. That's what I originally found this dime with, is the 6-inch Equinox coil, because I'm able to swing fast and those targets come out at me. If I'm wiggling my coil and playing with it and stuff, I'm spending a lot of time on a lot of junk. And with the smaller coil, you're able to cover more ground, swing fast, and that 6-inch coil can hit some deep targets there. The 6-inch coil was hitting this thing big time. That big coil right there, I spent a lot of time working it. There's another coin in there. Look at that. Another coin. 2 dimes. 2 dimes in there. Actually, I'm going to pinpoint that. See if there's another coin there. There is another coin in there. Look at that. Look at that. Maybe some iron in there? This is crazy, finding these coins in my front yard. I beat this thing up big time, man. There's another coin right there. Nope. False alarm on that one. Another penny right there. Another zinc penny. Crazy, man. That's absurd, right? Now I'm going to talk about the size of coils. That target right there was about 2 inches deep, 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep. I find a lot of stuff with, shallower than 6 inches deep. Most of my silver coins that I've ever found are shallow, 2-3 inches deep. I've found seeded coins 2 inches deep, right? I found barber coins 2 inches deep. I've found mercury dimes, hundreds and hundreds of them, 3 inches deep. It's just the bigger coils struggle on pinpointing those targets. So I want to know exactly where that target is, because in my soil, I have a really hot soil here. And finding these 3 coins here in that one hole is absolutely amazing with that 6-inch coil on the Equinox. That's why I prefer that 6-inch coil on the Equinox, because those targets just seem to, I can pinpoint those better. I'm not spending so much time on those targets, rotating around them and wiggling the coil and trying to work it and trying to get a better signal out of there. I got a banging signal from that Equinox 6-inch coil. I got a banging signal with that 9-inch coil. With this 11-inch coil, it was struggling on that target. So was the Equinox 11-inch coil. It was struggling on that target. It was really jumpy. It was hard to pinpoint. The numbers were all bumping up and down. On the Equinox 6-inch coil, it was a 21 signal. 21, 21, 21, all the way around it, And I was getting a little bit of high tones when I was like getting really, really tight sweeps there, and just in one spot there. But with the pitch tones in with the Deus, I can just discriminate up in the 20s or the higher 20s, and those targets just seem to pop out. With the full tones, that sounded like a junky target, but it could have been a coin on its edge. Coins on their edge do that. They give you a high tone on one end and it sounds like a coin, but then as you're rotating on it, you're swinging. As you're rotating, you're swinging at the same time and listening to it. You don't just watch. I'll show you. I'll show you on the same target here. And the reason why I skip up targets if I just rotate on them just a little teeny bit, I'll show you, right? And I'll take some of that soil out there and just spread it in my front lawn here so that plug sits in there nice. I'll put some water on it here because it's really dry soil. So when I'm detecting, when I get a target, I don't just swing on it and then just rotate on it like this and then just swing around. I get a target and I'm rotating it and swinging at the same time, right? So I can listen to those tones, so I can know the angle of that target and the shape of that target, right? If you get just a target right there and you just rotate on it 90 degrees, you don't know the shape of that target. If it goes away, you can't really identify the shape and the angle of that target in the ground there. And if there's some iron around that, you can hear that iron a lot better if you swing around that target. As you're rotating around that target, you're swinging too. You're sweeping over that target. A lot of times I'll go all the way around the target, just like the Deus there, and it went away, right? That high tone went away. But the more you play with targets, the more you wiggle your coil and lift your coil, back your coil up, you're gonna get a lot less out of the ground. That could have been junk right there, but it wasn't, because I swung over with my Equinox 6-inch coil and I was getting a banging target, solid 21. It sounded like a zinc penny. And I'm amazed that I just found that those 3 coins in my front yard here. I've had every detector that I own and every coil that I own over this ground right here for many, many, many hours. There's been quite a few coins pulled up out of here, and I know there's more coins over in the iron over there. Eventually I'll be digging some of those coins up, but it's just, you gotta have the right conditions. Right now it's dry. My soil's super hot. That's why the Equinox was kind of struggling a little bit there, because my soil is hot. But I have the Deus dialed in here. I'll turn this machine off here so it's not chattering so much. The Equinox had to drop down a little bit on the gain, because that EMI sounds like a target, right? Because it's giving me a high tone. With the Deus, it just goes, it just chirps like that if I get some EMI. I'm in 54 kilohertz frequency. The lower frequency was just not hitting that coin very good. The Equinox, I had it in Park Field 2 and Park. I was actually in Park 1 to begin with, and it was really hitting it really good in Park 1 with high gain all the way up, because those smaller coils I can jack the gain all the way up without getting any EMI. With the Deus, I can drop my gain down, but usually I just don't drop my gain down on the Deus. It's not necessary. I can get rid of that EMI just by switching over to a different frequency. But with the Equinox, that tone was jumpy with that big coil on it, because my soil's hot to begin with. It's not super soft right now. It's dry, so the targets start popping out right at this time of year. But with the Equinox, I was getting so much mineralization in that soil. Is really jumpy with that big coil on it. That's why I swing that small coil, because it's so much lighter, and it's you can get a lot more solid. You can really pinpoint that target better, and you're not getting so much EMI. You're not getting so much minerals in the soil, so you can really concentrate, pinpoint right on that target. With the Deus in higher frequencies, it can pinpoint really good in pitch tones, but I have to have my detector out to be able to switch the modes and whatnot. So, but I have them basically set up the same. The Deus was this pretty much the same settings, but with the different tone selection. I have it in deep program, and just one is full tones and 1 is pitch. And that's basically my pinpoint button. You know, the full tones wasn't hitting that target really good there, but it was 3 coins. So dig up those iffies and you'll get a lot more out of the ground. But the more time you spend on those iffies, the less you're going to get out of the ground actually, because you're spending so much time digging up junk, you're not going to get much more good stuff. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.